Hi there, lovers of the tarot. So, yesterday was the solstice, the summer solstice, longest day in the northern hemisphere, and definitely a powerful day where it's great. I've all traditionally done readings on these days and drawn cards to see what the next 3 months of my life is going to be like, or just the next 3 months in general, what the biggest lessons were. And so I'm going to show you the cards that I drew and just speak a little bit about some of the readings, some of the ideas that came from this reading. And these are two cards that popped up, super connected, super obvious, and super simple reading in many ways. And here, this is the Seven of Swords and the Page of Swords. And so I'm just going to show you just a little way of reading them together. Obviously, there's the videos that I'll leave a link to at the end of this one that I've made on each of these cards more in depth, and you can have a look at that if you wish. But when we're taking these cards together, there's this that's one at a time. We'll have a look, and the importance is really stepping into understanding this Seven of Swords, which a lot of people have a little bit of a difficulty understanding, but it's a very simple and very basic card. Yes, it's the thief. Yes, it's the part of us that's stealing a sword from somebody else, that's taking an idea, taking a belief, taking something that we think is important, or giving importance to something that somebody else has over what is fundamentally our truth. And so this is us taking other people's truths and making them more important than our own. And this is the lie. This is the lie and the deceitful nature of our programming, which this card represents. It's the part of us that is naturally inclined to give more importance to other people's ideas and to give their ideas more importance than our own fundamental ideas, even to the extent that we might forget what our own personal beliefs are, what we want, what is true to us, what is the most important thing for us. And so here we go with this card's primary message. It's a message of, and if you have a look at this card, so the message here, you see he's looking behind him to where he's just come from. So he's looking to the past, and it's got this kind of more Arabic type look to this guy, and there's tents of, desert type tents in the background. Reminds me of the festival season that's happening in England right now. And he's taken something, but he's looking behind him. It's as if he's looking into his past and saying, what have I taken? Yeah, and that's part of the message here. At least this part of the message that I'm taking is, hey, let's look into our past. Let's look at the way we've been programmed to give more importance to other people's ideas, and let's look at those specific ideas that we have borrowed from our past conditioning, from the trauma that we have, that we have experienced in our youth, no matter how delicate or deep or profound or subtle that trauma may have been. Let's look at those programs that's come from those traumas, and let's see what beliefs we are carrying that are dangerous to our journey in the future, because the danger is carrying the swords by their blades, which is not a very great thing to do. It's also not great to be carrying all these ideas that clutter up our heads and clutter up our minds with deceitful lies, and deceitful truths that we are telling ourselves are real when they're not. A lot of people see this as the deception and the lying in the world on the outside, and blah, this person's going to lie to you, he's not telling you the truth. Everybody forgets the law of mirroring and the law of attraction, which says that, hey, a deceitful, lying person will only ever come into your life to mirror the lies that you're telling yourself, or the deceitful programs, because it's not exactly a lie in extent, because it doesn't come out as, oh, I'm telling myself a porky pie. No, it's more like, hey, I am unconsciously believing in something that's not true to my fundamental truth, and that is a lie, but it doesn't feel like a lie. And so we have to look into our past to see the truths of the beliefs that we are unconsciously holding on to, so that we can let go of these swords. Fundamentally, so that we can drop all of these swords, and so that we can pick up a new one, so that we can tap into the inner child inside of us that is that part of us. It's that childhood. It's the childhood conditioning that we have in our lives that is the space, the time, that has the experiences of collecting these beliefs and collecting them and holding on to them. And we're taught to put other people's ideas over our own, and it's a survival mechanism that we have as we are children, because we don't have the beliefs that will help us integrate ourselves into society, so we have to borrow them. We have to borrow them from our parents, from our peers, from society, from our friends. We have to borrow other people's beliefs all the time. We have to take other people's words for it, and we have to take other people's truths, and we have to buy into those truths in order to feel connected to them, in order to feel the simple loving connection to the world that appears to be on the outside of ourselves. And that's the way we relate. And if we don't borrow those beliefs, we won't relate. And we so desperately want to relate as a child to the people around us. We want other people to relate to us. We want them to feed us love and care and well-being. And so that desperate, natural, pure desire for relating and for attention is what creates that fundamental need to buy into other people's thoughts. And it becomes such a habit that we end up continuing borrowing other people's thoughts until way after we're old enough to tap into our own and channel what is our own truth. But we're never taught that. We never taught that that's important. And that's part of the idea that this child inside of us needs to know. Hey, it needs to find the inspiration, the excitement, and the open-mindedness of and purity of a child. We need to find that inside of us that says, hey, what is my truth? What is different? What is my new truth? What is the real me? What does the real me want? What does the real me need? What does the real me believe? And just sit there, breathe, listen to what comes from within, listen to what comes through you, listen to the ideas that feel like are given to us from the universe, from Source, from God, from our spirit, and connect to that. Connect to that sense of self which will tell us our truth, which will inspire us and uplift us and get us excited in creating new realities, new foundations upon which to build this life. So there's a little introspection into our past. Take a look at all of these dangerous beliefs that no longer serve us, that these patterns and programs that we have taught ourselves to think are real and true, but are fundamental lies to our truth, or unconscious programs that don't really help us, and find that inner child's purity, innocence, and inspirational guidance. Have a fantastic solstice aftermath, and the next 3 months. Love to hear your cards that you drew on this day, and what it might tell you, and what messages you receive for this next 3 months. All the best.